Long time no talk. We are back with another video for our Franchise Hut series. However, there have been some changes that I think are necessary. Gonna have some just gameplay footage for you guys to look at, but for the most part, I stopped making videos because it was getting really hard to make good content. Because I'm a pretty good player. I went on a 31 game winning streak online versus. I kind of took a hiatus from Hut. But it was really hard. This concept worked really, really well at the beginning of the year because everyone's teams were kind of in the same overall value range. Whereas now, like, people's fourth lines are 85 and 86, and that's my highest overall on my first line. And as most players probably know, the overalls in this game matter the most they've ever mattered in any NHL up to this point. And it's really demoralizing just losing every game because someone just straight lines down the boards and just scores a glitch goal. So I got really demoralized for about a month. I broke a couple controllers because I felt like I was outplaying my opponent, but my 75 overall didn't know how to pick up a puck. And so I kind of just lost touch with wanting to make content. But, as any addict, you always come back to what you love. And I love hockey. And so I've been playing some games. I did some recordings, and honestly, I basically raged quit out of 40 games straight to get myself down to Div 3 so that I could actually play against people that still had 85 on their fourth line and 90s on their first line. But my skill could still make up for some of the lack of cards that I have. So I'm going to do some gameplay and kind of just talk about what I've noticed with the game, what I like about my team, and kind of give an update of what I think we should do moving forward for the series. But for the most part, I've just been gone because it's been brutal out there. It's a weird word to say, but I am very egotistical. And so when I know I'm pretty good at a game and all I do is lose because of an advantage I've made or disadvantage I've made for myself, it's just really hard to keep beating your head against that brick wall. So I still enjoy the game. I still play the game, just like every other NHL addict out there. But so let's just kind of jump into some videos, and I'm just going to kind of give some commentary on what my thoughts are about the game. So here's an example of the teams I'm playing against, right? So you got pretty much 86 and above overalls across the board with lots of great players that have the zero cost abilities, and they are just absolutely dumpstering me. Then on the flip side, this is what we were looking with. Got people still in the high 70s. Best card I think is an 87 Wyatt Johnston. How are you supposed to compete at a Div 2 level with a team like that? All right, let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay and kind of talk about the situation, right? So we have very low overall cards. We're competing against people that have these God squads, which, hey, to their credit, they're probably playing the game so much. They're doing their objectives. They're doing what they're supposed to in order to get the best team possible. And here I am handicapping myself for the sake of content. I thought I might be a good enough player to overcome that. But then, there's games like this game where I make a lot of just questionable decisions and don't score when I'm supposed to score and get scored on when I feel like I shouldn't be getting scored on. So I think what I might change is obviously one thing I still want to do is make sure that I cross over real life hockey card collecting with the video game itself. But I think whether it's I continue to lose streak and put myself in the lowest division and play with really bad cards, or I kind of go away from having to level them up and all this other stuff and just go and get the best cards possible, and it is what it is, right? But I really enjoy kind of the team creation aspect of, okay, well, he might be a really good player in real life, but his highest overall card's like an 84, but you still want to use him, right? So I think the pack and play could still be fun. I think defense and goaltending is going to be tough. I think you're mainly going to be getting forwards and whatnot. But that's okay, But it's also the economy of trying to do a pack and play while also not having a bunch of cards. And a lot of the cards in this game you need to open a bunch of packs in order to get, or just like completely trash your value on your tradable cards just to get an untradable card, which is only going to be so good for so long because of the fact that you're going to be opening up another pack and replacing that card, right? So I definitely want to keep the crossover real life hockey cards with the game itself. But maybe I go offline and go do like a franchise mode. But even in franchise mode, I know you can't edit the overalls of the players on your team. So like, I don't know, but also just the gameplay is just so much better online. Like, it's more enjoyable to actually beat someone online than it is to beat a computer. Like, for me, like doing like squad battle content for a game like Hut just isn't for me, right? I want to play against a real person, have real competition, and really see how good am I, but also not be at such a massive disadvantage that it's like it feels impossible to win. So we've had some really good looks in this game and haven't been able to capitalize, but I'm hoping that you guys aren't seeing the bad quality that I'm seeing, because it's really choppy on my screen. So hopefully it's clear whenever we export this. We're up 2-0. That's pretty cool. So now moving on to, an additional topic is, how is this going to affect my content moving forward? And I think really it's just continuing to challenge myself to have creative, innovative gameplay. One of my favorite guys to watch is Sopuli. I think he's got some of the most creative, dynamic scoring opportunities and kind of just flex clips of, what he's doing to score his goals and whatnot. But he's also just, we're not even on the same planet. That dude is just light years ahead of me skill-wise. But I think I have a pretty good grasp of what it takes to win a hockey game, where to pass the puck, what to do with it. And I just try to get creative on the outside of that as well. But so I think ultimately I'm going to still do pack and play. And I'm just going to try to be realistic about the cards that I can acquire. Maybe Team of the Year's coming up. So maybe I just like sell my entire team and start over after Team of the Year, because I'm gonna be able to get the most coins possible for all my tradable cards during Team of the Year, right? So I might lose some value on some cards, like, the Austin Matthews 85 card was, way more expensive when I bought it for like 140 or whatever it was. I might lose some value there, but at least I'm getting value back and I can kind of build a new team and see what I feel about that. But in terms of like the franchise aspect of this, having a captain and all the rules for squad battles and all that stuff, I think we can kind of put that to the wayside. Hopefully EA will make the hockey game where you can like level up your players. I just don't see that happening for like 2 or 3 years at minimum. But what's important to me is enjoying the game, making content. I want to get better at commentating the games and like kind of talking through my thought process. And ultimately, I don't want to be tied to the outcome. I don't want to have to feel like I need to win every game. And that's something that I personally am working on, is just being better about not tying myself to the expectation that I have to win because I feel like I'm better. Sometimes games are just meant to be played to have fun. And, I felt like I had that vibe at the beginning of the year, but it's also easy to say that because at the beginning of the year, I was winning a bunch of games. All the overalls were set back to, 80s and whatnot. And I was able to just kind of play with skill and outplay people. But then once people started figuring the game out, and then getting overall advantages, it just became more and more hard for me to actually win the games. So anyways, that's kind of my plan. Hopefully, I make some content that's fun to look back on, because I think one of the best things about making YouTube videos for me is that I get to look back on what was I doing back at the, the release of NHL 25. How did I play? What was new then? What was overpowered? What were the cool cards to get? And also just like playing with players I've never played with before. I don't know anything about them. I pull their hockey card and, oh, that's kind of cool. I wonder if they're, a pretty good value on Hut, and just use them in the game. So I'm still pretty excited, but we'll see if it lasts, I guess. Because I'm gonna have to get even more creative, and maybe eventually this does turn into some sort of offline game mode where I build a team and it's all about the cards that I collect in real life, stuff like that. But for now, I'm still dedicated to kind of like paying attention to the online experience of playing someone that's an actual person that doesn't just act like a computer, and see how I do against that. So, well, anyways, thank you for listening to my rant. I know this is kind of a long-winded, just lots of talking video, but I felt it was necessary to give an update to the channel and why it just kind of fell off. I do love NHL. I love the video game. I love playing hockey. I love watching hockey. And really, ultimately, I just want to make content that one day I can come back and watch and enjoy it for myself. It's not necessarily about making money or doing anything for other people. It's really for myself at this point. I'm not a big YouTuber or streamer or anything like that, but I have friends and family that like to tune in and watch what I'm doing and how I'm playing and check in with me. And this is just another medium for me to kind of isolate a time of my life of what I was enjoying doing when I was 29, almost turning 30, and how good was I and what gameplay looked like and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, we'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate it if you guys watch this video for the full length, and yeah, we'll see you next time.